faithful ones here today, huh?
Yeah.
A lot more after the games. No, we're excited to play another game. It's been a lot of practices and kind of do this to get to the games and play them. Indiana State's good. They're coached by one of the better coaches in the country, in my opinion. I've known Coach Church for a little while. Him and Coach Benoit are buddies, kind of cut from the same mold, basketball junkies. They play similar to us in that I think they're number one in the country in two-point field goal percentage last year because they don't take any bad twos. They're getting in the rim, they're getting fouled, they're taking threes, and he does a really good job with it. He's got, spacing fives that can shoot. We're gonna have trouble if we're not locked in on D. Anytime you screw up on defense, they make you pay. Screw up a switch, they're slipping, they're getting layups. They're a really good cutting team. They get a lot of assisted at the rims, which are the highest percentage ones. That's why they led the country in two-point field goal percentage. So we're gonna have to play well. Offensively, I thought we came out and played pretty well against Morehead State. Be great if we could do that again. Now Indiana State's much more physical. They grab you, hold you, don't let you cut. They try to pull things up. So our guys are gonna have to be tougher. We're gonna have to take care of the ball. We're gonna have to. This is good though. Like when you get into SEC, it's nice if you can have some tests that are similar. Maybe not on the offensive side of the ball, but on their defensive side of the ball, they're a little bit like Tennessee with being so physical and stuff with how they play. So just hopefully some of these games show us how we're gonna have to play against some of the conference opponents once we get into SEC play.
Start on the right here, Charlie.
Yeah, hey Coach, I know you're focused on the game. This is also the early signing period. I was wondering if you could give a comment on the two guys you're able to add today.
Yeah, so been recruiting Aiden Sherrill for a long time. I mean, my opinion, he's the best big in the country for how we want to play. And we targeted him early. It helped that he's from Detroit originally, and I knew a lot of his people up there. He's 6'11", moves great, can play on the perimeter, shoots the ball well, lob target. We've had different bigs here. You go back to like Alex Reese and Jordan Bruner, they could both space the floor really well. And shoot it, but they weren't really the lob targets that Bediako was. Bediako and Pringle have been great lob targets. I think Aiden's the best combination of both those. Like he can roll out of a pick and roll, dunk the ball, he can pop and hit a three. He's playing in a high school program right now that allows him to play on the perimeter, which is great for his development. And he's showing that he can make threes like we like. So really fired up about him. I think he's going to be a big addition to our program. And then, Nas Cunningham's one of the most skilled big guards, wings in the country, and we've done really well with those types, here lately, going kind of back to Herb Jones, Primo, Keon Ellis, kind of the 6'6". Keon started for the Kings last night, leading into Brandon Miller. We've done well with these big guards and wings, so he's coming in, he's skilled, athletic, he's got to put some weight on, but we've taken some guys like that in the past, been able to put some weight on him, so I think he's got big upside. We're super excited about both these guys. They'll continue to add quality players that we think have a chance to be pros in our program.
Stay on the right, Blake.
After the game on Monday, you mentioned defense is kind of a point of emphasis. You mentioned again your opening statement. What specifically have you been working on that side of the ball to prepare for Indiana State?
Yeah, I thought we didn't do a good enough job putting pressure on the ball necessarily against Morehead. I think we got to do a better job of ball pressure, making teams uncomfortable with how they want to run their offense. I think we got to do a better job contesting threes, making sure we're there. Our pick and roll defense wasn't quite where we needed it to be, and we're still trying to figure that out. We don't have Charles at the rim, so we got to play a little differently. And then just no matter what the score is, are we playing with the same effort as when it was tied? I thought we came out great, built up a lead, hit some shots. Can we continue to play with the same effort that we were when it was 0-0 out of the gate? So, and then our rebounding was terrible in the first half on Monday, to be honest with you. We were down 4 on the glass at the half. Now the second half, we ended up winning the second half by 15. So overall, we out-rebounded more by 11, but we're gonna have to do a way better job. Defensive rebounding, offensive rebounding, all of it in the first half against, you know, a tough physical team like Indiana State.
Nick.
Yeah, when you're talking about those signees, you rattle off players that you've been able to reference almost to these players that, when you're recruiting them. I mean, how much is year 5 now? How much has it made it easier that you can label, hey, this guy similar to you went to the NBA, guy similar to you went to the NBA? I mean, how much does that help?
It's huge. I mean, that's where these guys want to go. So, and the best predictor of future success is look at past performance. So, what has this staff, since we've currently gotten to Alabama, done with somebody that's similar to you? You know, when you're recruiting against a program that's had ample opportunity to do the same thing we have, and they've turned out no pros, and we've turned out, and we've had 6 guys drafted. Nobody in the country's had more lottery picks than we've had since we've gotten here. So, when you look at those, we've had 3 lottery picks. I mean, Josh Primo, 6'6" combo guard, you know, Kyra Lewis before him, quick athletic point guard, you know, and then Brandon Miller, kind of 6'8" wing guard. You know, and then you also look at a guy like a 4-man, like Noah Clowney, that was barely in some people's top 100. Nobody had him on a draft board anywhere. 1 year with us, he ends up in the first round and played really well. You know, if Noah Clowney hadn't done what he did, I'm not sure we get Jaron Stevenson. Jaron Stevenson and Grant Nelson are starting to make it a lot easier to recruit skilled force. So, you know, we've been able to do it with just about every position. And I think, you know, here in a couple of years, we'll be every position, multiple guys. And I think you can look to that in a short amount of time, too. It's not like we've been here for 20 years and we're referencing somebody from, you know, 2005 or something. You know, it's guys within the last 4 years. We've had 6 guys drafted. Keon Ellis was not drafted, started an NBA game last night. So you look at him, we've got 7 guys that have played on the big team in the NBA, and, you know, multiple other guys are in the G League. So we're putting guys in, and that's where these recruits, these higher level recruits that you need to recruit to win in the SEC, that's what they're looking to do.
Tony.
We recently learned about Scooter Mo and Little Mo. What do you think about those nicknames, and can you just kind of give, you know, what each player offers in your program?
Scooter Mo and Little, I don't know who told you about Scooter Mo and Little Mo.
Mark.
Sears.
Oh, yeah.
So Scooter Mo would be
Scooter Mo would be Wagay because he had the surgery on his foot. Like pretty much right when he got here, was running around on his scooter. So you know, Mo Wheelie, I think somebody called him. I think Preston wanted him to do some wheelies on his scooter. But yeah, he ran around on the scooter for the first few months he was here, so everybody knew him as Scooter Mo because he's running around on his little scooter that maybe you could use, you know, with your walking boot. But and then Little Mo, you know, you got Big Mo, Little Mo. Like Little Mo didn't really like Little Mo because he's not really that little. He's actually tough, physical, drives with some force. I mean, he plays hard, and he's really not that little, but he's littler than Big Mo. So Big Mo, Little Mo, Scooter Mo, Little Mo. Yeah, we got 2 Mo's though.
Up front, Kerry.
Coach, when you look at the tape, who are the individual players that concerns you with Indiana State?
I mean, Avila, obviously, just because he's got pick and pop capability, our bigs are going to have to get out and play him on the perimeter. You know, if you don't play him, he's going to make you pay. And look, he doesn't look like all the part. He's a little bigger, not super athletic. He is really skilled. Like as skilled a big as maybe we're going to see all year. And he's got real size at 6'10". So he scares me. You know, Julian Larry, Isaiah Swope, they're both super talented perimeter players. I think their whole perimeter group scares me because of how well they shoot it and how well they make decisions. So like I said earlier, if you make a mistake guarding their splits, they run a lot of similar actions to us. They run an NBA offense. I mean, Coach Schertz is a guy, I go to training camps every year. I've seen him at different training camps in the NBA. He's studying modern basketball like we do. They're playing a modern style basketball. We've got a big out on the perimeter that can make reads and pass the ball. And if you screw up your splits coverage, if you're supposed to switch and don't, or switch or you're not, all of a sudden one guy's open at the rim and they're making you pay every time. So I think Vila scares me a lot. And then obviously I think Larry and, Swope are really good perimeter players, but they've got other good perimeter players too. This thing doesn't want to stay where it's supposed to stay.
Blake.
Do you have any update on Chris Parker's availability for tomorrow?
You know what? He practiced today, so it'll be game day decision. But he's better. He had an abrasion, so I think he's fine. He just was super scratched and sweat. Couldn't really see, so kind of need to go see to play basketball.
Two more,
I
Charlie.
think it was good today, though.
Going back to recruiting, coach, just how many spots are you guys hoping to fill from the high school ranks, and what positions are you maybe focusing on there?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to depend on how good of a high school player you can get. Kind of our model at this point has been if they're good enough to help you right away, or if they've got real upside and understand that it might not be an immediate like playing, because it's the day of bringing a kid in, bringing them along, developing them long term. If they don't play right away, it seems like they want to transfer right away. So if they're good enough to help us immediately, or they understand that it's going to be a long-term deal and they're coming in to get better and play in our system, we'll take them. Otherwise, we'll go get kids out of the portal. And look, we've every kid that we've had drafted here, all 6 of them have been right out of, they're not transfers. Probably our, 3 of our starters, 3 of our better players this year are transfers. So we've done it both ways. Sears, Estrada, Grant Nelson, Reitzel, Wygay's gonna play a lot. The guys that have come in, they're gonna play. Now, look at everybody that's been drafted. They've all not been transfers. So I think we can do it both ways. To answer your question, how many are we looking to fill still in this class? Probably 2 to 3 more, but if we don't get them here in the fall or they don't commit, we've got some guys we're recruiting that talking about maybe committing after signing period. Like at this point, what signing period allows us to do is talk about them and takes the visit limit off, and we go visit as often, which is good because you can build a better relationship with them before they get here if you've got, essentially unlimited visits. So, I think about the relationship that we had with a guy like Brandon before he came. He was down here a bunch, we saw him a bunch. Like, it'd be great to have that type of relationship with a guy before he gets here. Signing early allows you to do that. If they don't sign early and they still commit to us, I'd still be very excited to coach them. We don't want to rush people into making decisions before they're comfortable making them either. So, but yeah, if we could sign 2 to 3 more, if we don't, we'll go get some kids in the portal. We've done really well in the portal because those guys in the portal want to play in a system like we're playing.
Last one up front, Kurt.
Your first game starting lineup, I guess, was sort of predictable. And I also know you got a lot of combinations. And I also know that starting doesn't matter that much. But do you plan to change that to look at another combination maybe to start this game, or have you decided?
I think that we will. We're going to look at it game to game. I think the starters we had did a great job getting us out of the gate, and I've rarely started my 5 best players as a coach. I think there's something to be said for having rotations off the bench, scoring off the bench, different options off the bench. But when I was at Buffalo, kid Nick Perkins, I think was 3-time MAC 6th man of the year. One of the best bigs in the country when it was all said and done, when we played the high major teams and beat the majority of them that we played his senior year. He was the best big on the floor, but we brought him off the bench all the time. he fouled. Referees are trying to establish how they're gonna call the game tight out of the gate, save him a foul or two here or there. You know, he had some of that. So, you know, us here, a kid like Reitzel may be closing a lot of games because he's tough, physical, can guard, make free throws, take care of it. But, you know, if you started him with Aaron and Sears, now you don't really have that rotation you want. You know, Jaron Stevenson's definitely good enough to start. As you could see, he's gonna play starters minutes most of the time, provided everything's going well, and, you know, he's playing well, whatever, but just with some different rotations, maybe it's easier to, you know, rotate guys around. You know, we're gonna evaluate it game to game, and it could be similar to years past, where based on matchups, starting lineups may change. You know, if there's particular guys that don't maybe have a matchup in the game, I think we've got enough guys on this team that starting doesn't matter to them, just winning, caring about the team. Whether I start and come off the bench, whatever, it doesn't matter, just tell me what I need to do to help us win, that we'll be able to, like, manage the starting lineups differently game to game possibly, but we're still not 100% sure on who's gonna start this one. It may be based on who's available for Indiana State too, because they've had some injuries that they've had, so we may have to wait and see who they're playing tomorrow night too.
Awesome. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thanks, good seeing you guys.